Give me one second. Okay, it's recording. Um, so the goal for today is just to kind of get us started with this whole process of how we're going to go about using Zoom as a way to communicate while we're out. The other thing that I need to point out is attendance. Since our our class is, a lab class, for us, it's it's going to be this next couple weeks or so, however long that we're going to be out. Um, the way the attendance is going to be taken is based on like accomplishing the task, or on days where we have discussions like today, for you to actually be on a certain time. If this time period conflicts with another class, I know we have a rolling block schedule. If you're unaware of what I'm referring to, let me share. So I'm pretty sure you can see what's on my screen. Let me, can someone, actually, I'm gonna mute for, give me 1 second. I wanna get a verification. On the chat, can someone point out to me if you could see what I'm sharing right now, which is the rolling block schedule? Can't see, no, okay, here, let me try, share screen. Share screen. All right, can you see this now? So I have to kind of toggle between the different functionality that they have here. All right. So let me go back. So we're all still kind of learning how to do this. Stop share. Okay, there. So can't wait for nutrition, Hunter. No, but can someone on the group chat mention if you were able to see that rolling block schedule that I just shared just now? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Atra. So I know that there is a rotating schedule, and from what I recall, there's nothing set. Like here's the printout of it. There's nothing set for 0 periods. So it's really just a matter of when we can find the time. For this week, the next couple of days are really going to be independent work that I'll assign. I'll post it every day on our Google Classroom. But on Friday, I do need to check in with everyone again. So on Friday, what I'll probably do is I'll create a time period, and then just sign up on when you'll be able, you're available. Because on Friday, I do need to talk to you more individually about the task that I'm going to be assigning this next couple of days. So, and as opposed to like a group setting of like 8 o'clock to 8:30, it'll be a rotating sign up of revolving sign up of like every 10 minutes. There's going to be, you join the chat, and then I'll just focus on discussing your particular kind of work, and then I move on to the next student. So I'll create a sign up sheet for that. All right. Some people are not able to hear. Let me see. Because on my end, I have, let me check. All right, I'll maximize my speaker. The only thing I could see on my end is like whether or not you're muted or you don't have a video, in which case that's the kind of the general setting right now. In the end, because some people can hear her. Is it Sam that can't hear? I think so too. Yeah, Sam. It looks like on if it's you, you're the only one that doesn't have like a symbol on the microphone. Um, and yeah, that seems to be the only difference there. What we'll do is I can communicate to you directly and still uh, keep signing on and just I'll be quick with this description. I'm recording this, so what I can probably do is also upload it on YouTube and then put it on their Google Classroom. So okay, all right, perfect. Thank you, Ben, for confirming that. So let me take a look at my to-do list here. So again, to clarify, attendance will be done based on like the task that's being completed. So if I had post something and it could be as simple as like yesterday a Google form where I need you to answer it, and then I'll check later that night. Then that's how we can figure out if you're keeping task of or track of the task that's assigned. On certain days, like today, this will count as the attendance. You know, whoever is online right now will count as you attending the session. And then the next one that will have one of these will be Friday. But the way it's going to work again is we'll have a rotating schedule, and I'll post that in the next couple of days. With regards to grades, whoever's missing work, either labs, I hope you brought your lab notebook with you. If not, then you could, I'm pretty sure that I don't know if there's an email sent by the office, but there was a plan that they were going to open, like they'll have the school open and available for students to be able to pick up their materials. The problem we have is your lab notebooks are in our lab and not in your locker. So I'm hoping again that you were able to pick that up. Let me know, send me an email. Maybe we'll have to coordinate something where we'll find a day this next couple days. Because some of you are still missing a lab that needs to be turned in. All right, so that's about grades. The main task that I really want to discuss today, this next couple of weeks or so, since originally we had a independent project that you and your partner was going to work together, but then when we chose those projects and topics, the main thing was that it was designed so we can conduct the experiment in the class. So for example, a lot of you were going to work with testing different sources of bacteria, and we were going to run it, put it on a plate, and then we were going to do like antibacterial test or something along that line. Obviously, that's not going to work with the current condition we're in right now and the setup that we have. But since the goal of the class is, since we're a lab class, and the goal is for us to just go through the scientific process. That's why yesterday I asked you to watch the video refresher where they were using an example illustrating how to go about the process of like observing, asking a question, and designing what would be the next steps. So we're going to take a different approach now. Since one, we can't do pair work, or it's more difficult to do pair work. Number two, the original topics we've chosen had the premise that we were going to be able to do the experiment in the lab. So what I'd like you to think about is the next today, and brainstorm as much as you can. And what I posted on our Google Classroom an assignment. It's a Google form, and I'll put in everyone's names on it on like the first column, but then there are 3 other columns. It says topic option A, B, and C. And what I'd like you to consider would be, now that we're all just staying at our homes, what are some things that you are observing either within the house, outside the house, or within your neighborhood, questions that you can think of as, hey, I could potentially, try to figure out what's the answer to that observation that I noticed, or something that you were always curious about, then that could be something that you could pursue. The main limitation again is that in terms of the experimentation, it's going to have to be limited by what you can do within the setting that we have, which is you're at home for the most part, or you can maybe venture outside of your house, but not to the point where we're doing an experiment in the lab. So to big picture, we're changing our approach to the independent research. We're no longer using the topic that you originally had, since again, we can't do that topic. Then the thing that I need from you today is on that Google form, can you suggest 3 potential questions of things that you'd like to explore within the constraints that this experiment or this particular research topic has to happen within you being at home. We can't obviously be too ambitious about this. The other thing is I'd like you to make sure that it's something that you're interested in, that you can actually answer a question that you're always been fascinated about. Think it would be feasible. So I'm just going to look at some of the questions you guys have posted. Expect internship opportunity right now, like even for the summer. Hunter, we'll have to talk about that at a later time. But the one thing, like a lot of the internships right now are on pause. So the year 3s are not able to go to a lot of their internships because a lot of the labs are not, like they're closed down. So at a later time, we'll talk about what you, for your group, what we're going to be doing. But some of the facilities or labs might still be like you can email or communicate with them, but whether or not they're accepting anything right now, that's something that we can't really address yet. So Nick says, can the topic be more broad as we have less access to biotech? Yes, Nick. In fact, it's gonna have to be, we have to be open to the fact that it could be, it's not necessarily just the topics we've talked about in biotech. We're gonna have to open this up to any science-based type of research topic that you'd like to pursue. So yes, it can be broad, and what I'd like to see is whatever you suggest, I'll look at the 3 options, and then later tonight, I'll highlight what I think out of the 3 that you suggested would be the most feasible, the one that's most likely will give you some sort of possible result at the end of this process. So is the research project not supposed to be ambitious? It's more about going through the scientific process. I mean, we do want to, we want it to be as challenging as possible, but we have to be realistic with the constraints of what you can do at home, right? So we certainly can't do any sort of PCR, or we can't do growing things on agro. So we don't have that access right now. So to answer your question, I mean, the word ambitious could be taken different ways, but for me, defining ambitious would be like something that's so that requires more technology and more access to the lab. So we're going to have to taper it down a bit to something that you can do at home. Can we give an example? So, for example, like I'm just looking at my the backyard right now, and I'm having issues with like all these weeds that's growing on my backyard, like all these crabgrass and all these things that's in the backyard. So I might consider trying out. So that's my question. That's my observation. You know, I have an issue with all these kind of things growing in my backyard that's taking over the lawn. So now, based on that observation, you know, what question can I pose to that, and then what scientific process, using the scientific method, what ways I could design to try to deal with that issue. So although it seems kind of like I mean, this right off the bat, it's just something I could see in front of me, but it's still, if you think about that, although as silly as that example might be, that still is an observation that poses a question that allows you to look at what are your options and what information do I need and how could I go about designing an experiment to answer that question. So, I mean, that's just right now, like what's in front of me. So most of this will involve you guys having to brainstorm um, today, really thinking about what is, to be observant, like what's around your house, what are the things you around your neighborhood, because again, you don't want to venture too far out. Can you post a block schedule on Google Classroom? I will. Yes, I'll do that. I'll post a block schedule on Google Classroom. All right. So Ben, yeah, the collection of data will have to happen either at the inside your house, or again, because we're allowed to go out at this point. I mean, things might change, but we're just limited by the how far out you could be. I obviously don't want you guys to get in trouble by venturing too far outside of what is allowed right now. But things change every single day. So right now we're still allowed to be outside our house, so that is still an option. All right. Piper says it's more like a science fair thing. Yes, that in a way that is kind of our approach. Because even when we were doing our pair work, the idea was we still had a question that we're trying to attempt to answer by conducting an experiment in the lab. This time around, the series of steps are the same. What's different now is your data collection and the method that you're going to be using is not necessarily lab based. It's going to be something that that's limited by what's available at your house. We're still doing this with our partners. It's best that we do this individually. The issue with having to set this up in pairs is that we're like we're restricted with having to only communicate online. So it's best that we do this individually. Oh, Bryce. You're very tardy, Bryce. So watch the video, I'll post it later. When does this due? So it's similar to kind of our approach with the pair work. But this time, since everything now is online. So the next, tonight, the homework really is, I need you're brainstorming 3 ideas, 3 topics that you'd like to explore. And then I'll check what you have posted. I'll give you some comments or highlight out of the 3 options you posted, I'll highlight the one that I think is most likely the one that'll get you the best data or the most successful result. And then after that, the next couple of days, it involves the research portion, meaning like you looking up information that will help you figure out what needs to happen next. So check tomorrow on Google Classroom. Tomorrow I'll have further direction on what's the next step. We're going to do this in steps. So the deadline, like there's checkpoints basically. Like tomorrow there'll be something different, and then Thursday there'll be an additional step. So and then on Friday I'll do a check-in with everyone. That's why we're doing individual meetings on Friday. And then next week we'll continue on. But the goal is while we're at home, we're gonna go through these step by step with certain checkpoints along the way. So yeah, in terms of the final due date, we don't have that yet because it depends on the progress of this project. So, but we'll have every single day some sort of task to move us along in this process. No Zoom tomorrow. Tomorrow and so Wednesday and Thursday are going to be independent work. So as long as you keep task of that, I'll mark you in as present. So check Google Classroom tomorrow, check Google Classroom on Thursday, and then on Thursday too, I'll post a kind of a sign up schedule of when what are the available times, and because we're gonna have to do individual meetings, probably like 10 minutes or perhaps even less than that. Just a quick checkup with everyone. It might even be just like every 5 minutes. Like I'll talk to each one of you. So the next time you'll see me would be this Friday when we'll do our next individual Zoom session. All right. I'm gonna unmute everyone, but don't go crazy with all the questions or comments. But here you go. Unmute all. Okay. Anything instead of typing it up, anything you'd like to of course, of course. Start. Got Ben. All right. Any particular question that you guys want me to address?
Are you sick?
Am I sick? I still have that cough, that lingering cough from a while. So last Friday, the reason why I wasn't there, Thursday, remember that the school district sent out an email saying that anyone with a cough should just stay home. So that's why.
Funny, Bryce.
Bryce, you just joined. You're like 20 minutes.
No, in my defense, I set an alarm for 7:30, but then I fell asleep again.
Look, it's not a defense.
Yeah, it's not defense at all. You're crazy.
Not hold up.
Bro, online school hits different.
Mm-hmm.
What?
All right.
You're right.
But my main question for everyone right now is, if we set up a schedule like this, because some of your teachers might set up a Zoom schedule, because technically right now, if I do look at this block schedule, this is meant from 8 to 10 is actually second period.
That is so long.
So yeah, it doesn't mean that your teacher will use all of that. Like for example, after this at 9 o'clock, I'm meeting second period, but only for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know Mrs. Hearn for bio second period. We have a meeting today from 9 to 10. She isn't using the 8 to 9 slot, but that just might be for today. She hasn't said an actual
Big
time.
change. All right. I think for right now, I'm going to stay with it and let me know if it doesn't work. Because I have a feeling no one wants to be up at 8 o'clock. That's why no one's using the 8 o'clock time slot.
Eric, your camera is so creepy.
Where are you guys? Hunter.
Ben.
I didn't know you could see me.
Yeah, if whoever has cameras on, it looks like most of you don't have your cameras on, which probably is the best idea.
Yeah, I'm in bed.
How are you doing that?
All right. Okay, you guys. So I think that's all I have. Make sure again, if you need to turn in something to me, just take a picture of that and then send it by email. Yeah, stay healthy. And someone's things down now. I think we're gonna end this meeting. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
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 Corona, Mr. Nadato.
Bye.
Bye-bye.